Hey guys, Magna back here with yet another Legacy of the Void cast. Today's going to be a TvT between Frogis, who's this red Terran, and BNet player, who is actually MotoK. And you guys may have seen this tag before on another video that I casted. It was MotoK. I found out because I stumbled upon his stream and I got in contact with him. And yeah, saying I love your name. But the point being is that I did get in touch with MotoK. He is going to start sending me replays, so that'll be really helpful from a Terran perspective. And he did send me a TvT for this one. So in exchange for him sending the replay, guys, head over to his stream, hit the follow button, say hello for me. He's a really good guy. He's a Korean player, which is not something you get your hands on too often, our Korean high-level replays. So check that out. By the way, MotoK opening up with a barracks and a gas pretty much at the same time. Whereas the gas first from Frogis, we're going to go ahead and call him Frogis. I don't know who this is actually, but we're calling him Frogis today. He's opening up with a gas well before his barracks, so his gas is going to be way faster. Actually getting a really fast second gas too, so this is pretty insane as far as these gas timings. 2 gas before factory, you basically never ever see that. Frogis now scouting, looking out for BNet player, or excuse me, MotoK. I just say BNet player because his name is right here, but this is definitely MotoK. Finishing up the barracks here, going to probably drop a factory, or actually you might just open Reaper with this. Reaper into expand. No, a Marine. Okay, this is a little different, not something you see all the time. So going to go ahead and get that going. He definitely has the minerals for a command center, so should be dropping that pretty soon. On the other side though, this is very obviously, or at least it looks like, a Cyclone opener. And I was really interested to see how aggressive TvT builds matched up, considering we haven't really seen a whole lot of that yet, and not a lot of people have figured out, considering typically in Heart of the Swarm it was all about who's going to open Banshees, who's going to open up with a Hellion drop, who's going to try to get away with a greedy command center. There was a lot of kind of circular build order counters in this matchup, but the Cyclone kind of throws a really weird wrench in those gears. By the way, he could build a barracks here? Oh yeah, he is. Oh, he's building an engineering bay to block the add-on. So lol. This is not something you see all the time because players are typically usually a little bit more protective of that tech lab. So this is so funny because one player that used to do this all the time was actually TLO back when he played Terran. He would build a barracks on short by air, short rush distance by air maps, and he would fly his barracks over and steal the add-on. But still, building an engineering bay in the way is just as good, and that's apparently what you get for opening up with such a fast gas and not protecting your tech lab until the barracks is done. So he probably could have kept his barracks there and produced a Marine, and then just moved the factory once it was ready. So kind of a funny dynamic here. MotoK getting a really fast command center. Both of them actually opening with a Cyclone. So the Cyclone's going to be, well, it was supposed to be faster for Frogis, but he actually got his tech lab blocked or stolen or whatever you want to call that. So pretty funny stuff here. By the way, when you do stuff like this, you definitely want to cancel your engineering bay and get the money back. So he does that as soon as it's at about the last second worth of HP. The weird thing though is that second factory on the way, so I guess this makes a little more sense, but I was just going to say that the gas is so high for Frogis right now. Really having a kind of a hard time spinning his gas. I don't know if that early gas was all that warranted, but coming out with a Cyclone and 2 Marines is Frogis. If he tries to attack into this, there's a whole bunch more Marines and a Cyclone. So MotoK definitely getting the better end of the build orders right now. I'm actually not quite sure why Frogis is so behind, but second Cyclone on the way. Needs to be really careful here because this army will just dominate if they do come up here. So he just wastes the 2 Marines, doesn't even realize he's getting shot. Now the Cyclone can lock on and probably kill this thing before it even has a chance to do anything. Or we could get a straight up trade, Cyclone versus Cyclone. Who's going to win? Place your bets. Oh, no, everyone loses. It's a 0 in roulette. So yeah, finishing up the command center is Frogis. Not too far behind. Like we were talking about how far behind he was in the build orders. Only 2 SCVs, but the Marine count was so high. And the difference here was that the slower gas from MotoK allowed him to have all these extra Marines, whereas the extra minerals went into this factory. And again, he's having a hard time spending his gas. So I don't think the second gas being that fast is really warranted if we really want to examine some TvT build openers here. So both these guys opening up with a lot of Cyclones. Frogis getting a armory here, so I'm not sure if this is going to be for things like Hellbats, considering Hellions are usually more useful with this type of composition. But on the other side, we're actually seeing our first real mech versus bio game. So bio is definitely what the doctor ordered here for MotoK. Going to swap these add-ons here in just a second. grabbing stim and combat shields at the same time, so bio versus mech. And this is a big thing that people have been talking about as well, is if everyone's so concerned about Cyclone versus Cyclone and weird mech versus mech games, if you just produce a lot of Cyclones and you don't really understand what's going on from your opponent, which Frogis has no idea, he's totally in the dark here, bio will just straight up win against this composition. This is about the same as Phoenix versus Phoenix PvP, and someone just tricks them and goes into like 30 Blink Stalkers and just kills them because they don't have the support to deal with that if they made like 10 Phoenix. So that's basically the equivalent of what we're seeing here, where one player is way over investing into Cyclones and the other one's just playing a standard bio style. It's probably just going to win this game pretty easily, considering a lot of Marines versus only a few Cyclones. That's going to favor the Marines basically every day of the week. So here comes a double drop here. The only good thing for Frogis that could come is catching this drop before it does too much damage. Here's a Command Center on the way and a Banshee. This is such a weird composition right now from Frogis, and I have to say that bio is probably still going to be really good in TvT. Obviously TvT is going to revolve around, a lot around the tank drops once it goes into deeper late games, but early Cyclone builds, lol, here's a lot of Marines. They're probably going to kill basically everything here. You can pull the Cyclones and you're going to have pretty good range here, but the problem is that the range upgrade isn't done. So you could kill one Marine, they might be able to stim right on top of you. He's actually going to cancel the upgrade, and that's going to basically put the nail in the coffin, as he should be able to clean this up pretty easily from this point. You can see him trying to target down these Cyclones, doing pretty well. 2 Cyclones for this drop is totally worth it. Actually, the drop gets killed, so kind of evening that up just a little bit, but at the same time, a decent amount of SCVs lost from Frogis. He actually got his Command Center canceled, so that's really annoying too. That's kind of what he was banking on. If he could hold that drop, get his Command Center up, he'd be in a pretty good spot, but now he's very much not in a good spot. He's even still making Cyclones. Cyclone Banshee, so I'm not really sure how well this is going to work out, considering bio basically kills both of those units, and it's not really one of those unit compositions you can just go for and get away with it. 2 armories. Didn't he already add an armory? I guess it got killed during that drop, so even more damage that we didn't even really notice coming down during that fight. So the double drop from the bio, just kind of getting it out and just doing random stuff, just crushing this Cyclone composition right now. So gonna stim up here. The bunker is totally empty, so no reason to even target that. Cyclone's just falling like flies. Hellions come out way too late. No blue flame on these or anything. The Banshee cloak is now ready, and these Stim Marines could just chase it down. He just says, never mind, I'll just kill SCVs while I'm here, and if the Banshee really becomes a problem, I can just lift up in my medevacs and get out of there. So not too much really going wrong here for MotoK in this game, as he's just kind of stomping down this other Terran player while he's just running really normal bio. So alert guys, you can't just blindly run Cyclone like this guy's trying to do. Otherwise somebody running bio will just straight up kill you, as it seems to be quite the hard counter right now unless you start adding tanks and getting that mech composition supported properly. You can see he's not even producing anything off these factories because he just has no minerals right now. So he's even still trying to stick with these Cyclone plays. So I guess we'll have to really see, right? Because he did get the better end of a build order, but I wonder if you're able to get enough Cyclones and enough Blue Flame Hellions up to be able to combat this reasonably well. Because, or maybe adding drops or something like that in addition to try and drop like Hellbats on top of the bio army. But still, I have to imagine that standard bio tank is just going to do way better against this. Yeah, Frogis says GG, I'm dead. So kind of a weird game there, but I guess just showing that opening up Cyclone and just doing whatever you want with Cyclones is definitely not an option in this matchup, considering a bio player will just absolutely destroy and push you down reasonably quickly. So again, guys, we're going to get some weird games from time to time. Not really sure what to expect out of a lot of these, but mostly these are just to learn about how the beta works. So hopefully with every game you're kind of increasing your knowledge a little bit and figuring out a little bit more how the game works before you're able to get into beta, if that happens to be the case. Or if you're already playing beta, you can kind of see how top players are doing it. But I'll be casting more games here in the very near future. Again, pop over to MotoK's stream, which I have down there in the description. Say hello, tell him I sent you over. Tell him thanks for the replays, and you can watch him play first person. He is a Korean player, so he is going to be very good. So look out for him. I'll see you guys really soon with more replays. Until then, take care.